Welcome to Sharing Her Story, Unapologetically Ambitious with me, Christina. This is fun. Welcome back, y'all, to my podcast, Sharing Her Story, Unapologetically Ambitious. Today, in this episode, I am thrilled to welcome my good friend, Erin Tanner, as we dive into her reclaiming resilience from pain to strength. Erin is a truly inspiring person. She's inspired me. She's inspired so many different people, and she has faced incredible challenges on her journey. She will share her story of navigating the complexities of divorce and recovery. It's hard to imagine how difficult it must be to reclaim your sense of self while dealing with such profound loss. But Erin's journey is a testament to the power of resilience and importance of embracing one's own ambition unapologetically. She fits perfect in here on this podcast.
Hey.
Erin, thank you so much for being willing to do this.
I'm happy to. I love it.
Awesome. Well, before we hear from her, I'm just going to recap a little bit about the last podcast. We heard from Natalie Mooney. She is a mother of 5 beautiful children, and together with her husband, they live here in Tennessee, and they live to fulfill the Great Commission given to us in Matthew 28, verses 16 through 20, to go and make disciples. They've done that overseas, and they also do it here locally. Through her story came our story of adoption. You can find her episode and all the other ones on all the major podcast sites, also on my YouTube channel. All of this is going to be linked in the comments, so y'all can find today's episode along with all those other episodes. For today's episode, it's one that's sensitive, but it's also very important. So having followed Erin's story, I really wanted her to tell y'all about her story. Erin, are you ready? We're going to jump into these questions. Erin and I met, a couple years ago now. We became friends and started talking, I guess, a couple years ago. And I've just loved seeing you grow and seeing how you impact people's lives. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
I miss your beautiful face. I'm so proud of what you're doing, and I love your channel. So I wanted to say that first.
Thank
I'm
you.
Erin. I'm 41. I do marketing for a property development company. I absolutely love my job. I love the people that I work with. My best friend is a sweet little black cat. She might make an appearance on here. She's hiding behind the screen right now.
I love it.
Her name is Julie Newmar, and I adore her. I was married for 14 years. In July, I will have been divorced for 1 year. So, still kind of fresh. There's probably some stuff that people don't know about me that they're going to learn from watching this video, but hopefully they will not judge and show me grace. And, that's the best thing I can hope for. But if that doesn't happen, honestly, what's more important to me is being able to help at least one person. And so I can't control what other people think, and that's fine. So everybody's entitled to their opinions. But and honestly, I can't blame people because I didn't like the version of me that I was a year ago. Either we agree on that. But I wake up every single day now choosing to be a better person and just make better choices. And that's been working for about 9 months.
I liked you before, but I'm proud of you for the steps that you're taking. How did you rediscover your strength and sense of self after your divorce?
That took some time for me. Everything happened really fast. I don't think I did it well. I didn't have good counsel in my life. I didn't have a lawyer. I didn't have a counselor. I wasn't really reaching out for help, and it took a while to pick up the pieces after my marriage fell apart. I was dealing with a lot of guilt and shame. I've forgiven myself. I'm moving forward. Very soon after my separation, I lost my job. Like I said, I lost all of my friends, a lot of family. I lost my pets. It was really, really hard. And I just spiraled. My whole life was different. I was like plucked out of my old life and just kind of floating in space, and I didn't know who I was. I didn't know where I was going. The future just was a foreign concept to me. I didn't know what to do. And so I really fell into self-pity. It got really dark. I've struggled with addiction for probably as long as I can remember. I was just in denial about it for a really long time. I've been in recovery for quite a bit, but not really doing great consistently. I really kind of fell off the wagon there when everything fell apart. I was just really hung up on my hurts and my loss. I wasn't thinking about the people that I had hurt. Self pity just turned into self loathing. My pride wasn't really allowing me to see what I had done to other people. I was just kind of grasping to try to hold on to relationships, and I had hurt people and they just were not, they weren't into it. So, like I said, I understand, but it was very, very hard. I got to a really low place and realized I have to do something different or I am going to die. Sometimes we just have to hit that low to realize that no one can help you if you don't communicate that you're struggling. And I think that was what changed for me as I started to talk to people. And I started to tell people, like, I'm not doing okay. I just sit in my house and cry and just hope that y'all will come see me, but y'all don't know I'm struggling, so why would you? And when you don't, I start to hate you for it. It was just a cycle.
Yeah.
And I was just putting expectations on people that they couldn't fulfill. It was really, really hard. But a power greater than me picked me up at just the right time. And I found myself back in the rooms of Alcoholics Anonymous and back in the lives of my safe people. And once I started going back and just working with other people and being of service and just noticing how speaking in a meeting would allow someone an opportunity to maybe learn something that was going on in their head. And they come up to me afterwards and they say, I really liked what you said. I really connected with that. And that really helped me understand how the process works and how important
Mm-hmm.
community is. And it gave me back a sense of confidence and gratitude. And I think being able to wake up and say, like, yeah, I don't have this, I don't have that, I'm sad about this or that, but I do have this. And that really, 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 really helped me over the summer. I didn't have a job over the summer, but I wasn't like beating myself up about it. I was trying to use my time productively. God was a big
That's
part of it.
awesome. Thank you for sharing all that. What advice would you give to women who are feeling stuck after a loss or after a divorce?
The first thing I would say is that that's totally normal and that they're not
Mm-hmm.
alone. A lot of people will isolate when they think what they're going through is weird or that someone else may not understand or that no one will understand. That's what kind of will tear us apart is when we just separate ourselves from safe people who can tell us the truth when our brain is telling us lies. Change is hard, but I had to change my perspective a little bit because like I said, I lost a lot of things, but I gained like a clean slate to make my life what I wanted it to be and make Erin what I wanted her to be. And I
Mm-hmm.
had the room and the time to
Mm-hmm.
do that. And a lot of people had to really beat that into my head because I was so hung up on my pity party. Once I started to just kind of get excited about the future, I think that was really helpful.
Mm-hmm.
And it kind of got me out of that headspace of feeling stuck because I was focused on the negative, and I think that is really unhelpful.
How
I
can
guess that's
someone
my
begin to open their heart to love again after experiencing heartbreak?
I think acceptance is helpful for moving forward and knowing that there's no rush. I'll share something that I learned in counseling this week. When we're feeling lonely, sometimes we skip over solitude and want to go straight into intimacy because we want a person to make us feel better and fill that
Mm-hmm.
void. But if we do that, the intimacy turns into intensity, is what he said. I was like, oh, wow, wordplay. But if we are able to go from loneliness to solitude, that is where we learn to be okay being alone. That's where we learn to be content with it and not try to drown it out with drugs, alcohol, food, dating, documentaries, Cheetos, whatever. Um, and I skipped that part. I really skipped that part. And I got to a point where even when I was sober, I was not using my alone time productively. I was I was trying to drown out how I felt. And it got me realizing that I didn't process my divorce at all. Everything moved so fast. And because I felt like I didn't have people, I wasn't processing it. And so I was thrust in from like this super codependent situation to a super independent situation. And I was doing everything. I was moving, doing all this, trying to find a job. I had some health issues. I had a whole lot of big stuff going on that I had to do myself.
Mm.
And um it was hard, but it helped to distract me from actually having to sit down and go through those stages of grief. And I skipped that part. So yeah, I think not rushing, but knowing that you're not broken. There are people out there that understand you, and there's probably a perfect match out there that's been through exactly what you have in some capacity, and they'll understand you and you can kind of bond over that. But I think a lot of people rush, and that's
Yeah.
where we fall into trouble. So
Yeah.
yeah.
That's really great. I think our probably our natural instinct is to rush. So I like that what you
Yeah.
learned about and sharing that.
In that time of solitude and learning to like be alone and be comfortable with it, you
Mm-hmm.
figure out who you are and what you want and what you don't want. But if you just jump into another relationship, you don't really know your worth. And so if you see a red flag or if somebody does something and you're like, I don't really want this in my life, you are like, but that's okay. I'll just deal with it instead of, no, there's something better out there. So I think really just learning to love yourself before you try to let someone else love you so that you can be the partner that you want in someone else, basically.
Yes. And I
Yeah.
bet that was really hard for you being with someone for so many years and then having to
It was super hard. And I mean, the end of it wasn't great because neither of us were really putting in work, but that almost kind of made it harder because I was so eager to move on because I felt like I was missing
mm-hmm.
out on something. And I noticed that I started to do that a little early and I didn't know who I was. So how can I be something to someone else if I don't even know who I am?
Yeah, definitely. Well, that kind of leads into the
Yeah.
next question that I have. Can you share any practices or habits that helped you kind of cultivate a loving mindset during the healing process?
Uh, things I've touched on, community for sure,
Mm-hmm.
being around other people that are in similar situations or that just have had struggles in general and overcome them, I think is really helpful and important. I try to reach out to at least three safe female friends every day, even if it's just, how are you? And sometimes they're having a bad day and they're like, I'm so glad I got this text today because I really needed, to hear
Mm-hmm.
from you. And it allows me time to get out of my head and maybe help someone else with a problem. So that's been a really helpful practice and just again gratitude, just being able to wake up in the morning and just be like, you know what? I'm glad I have a car that runs. I'm glad I have a
Mm-hmm.
job. I'm glad I have a cat. Even if I don't have other things that I want or feel like I need or whatever, like I have great things. So, yeah.
Well, you've already really kind of touched on this, but how important is it to have a support system during and after a divorce? And what role did your friends and community play in that journey?
It's crucial. 100% crucial because when left alone, our brains are going to spiral. And I don't think anybody has, unless you are the most emotionally mature human alive, which I've never met anyone like that. But we're just not able to, if our brain is telling us like, you are a loser, you lost everything, everyone hates you, it's really hard to be like, actually that's not true. You need someone else sometimes when you're just spiraling in a really dark place like that. I mean, if you're not in a dark place, you can tell yourself that. I'm not, you know in a dark place all the time, but when I am, I can't. But I think my family has gotten a lot closer and they have become a really good support system. I've been super thankful for that. We have been through a lot over the years together and it's been a roller coaster, but right now it's even and I love it. AA and my family were really all I had. after my split. And so I really leaned on them a lot. But
That's
again, they
great.
were able to love me until I could love myself. And so
Hmm.
it really helped so tremendously much. I could not have done this alone. Absolutely not. I would not be where I am today.
Awesome. What are some ways women can find or build a supportive community as they navigate this healing process?
There's tons of divorce groups, like churches have them. I have not personally tried one, but I've heard great things about them. And there are other groups like AA that aren't like substance related. If you have like a specific thing you struggle with, there might be a group for that, like Overeaters Anonymous, codependency groups, Al Anon. If you have someone in your family that's struggling, which I mean, there's so many of us out there, then someone everyone knows it's probably an alcoholic. So we probably all fall into the Al Anon category. But it's a great place to be able to speak freely and know that you will not be judged and that more than
Mm-hmm.
likely someone will come up to you afterwards and be like, thank you for saying that. And in other people's shares, you learn things about yourself. Do you want to be on camera? That was super
Yes.
helpful for me. Like when I just went to a meeting and just listened, there would be
Mm-hmm.
some tangled something in my head that someone else speaking would unravel. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I just had an aha moment because what you said is what I'm going through. I just couldn't put words to it. I think definitely getting into some type of community. And there's tons. There's small groups at churches. Get in a book club. Just ask a
Mm-hmm.
bunch of your girlfriends to go to dinner once a week or once a month. There's all kinds of things that people can do. We have no
Yeah.
excuses.
Yes. I'm the type of person that, gosh, if I'm going through something, my first instinct is to pull away and to kind of just
Yeah,
be by
same.
myself. And I have learned that you have to build that supportive community.
To get out of the house and go sit down in a group of people and talk to them, like you feel so much better afterwards.
What are some key lessons about love and relationships that you've learned through this experience?
It taught me how to love myself and how to productively use my alone time. Like I was saying earlier, that took a while for me to learn, but I've gotten a better grasp on it now. I choose to do the next right thing after it. What's a good, healthy thing to do right now and what's not? I was very humbled because I learned the hard way how my actions can affect others. In the beginning, I thought about I'm only hurting my ex, but I hurt friends because us splitting up hurt people who we were a part of their lives as a couple. They were like, well, my life is now changing because I don't have them as a couple anymore. And I didn't know that because, like I said, just had bad self esteem. And I didn't realize me not being in someone's life would affect them. I've heard a lot of that. And that really hurt me. I did not play these tapes forward and I didn't think about that ripple effect and all the people that my behavior would affect and what happens when you're in a place of self-absorption, which I think I was, and I just wasn't worried about anybody else but myself. That was super humbling. That was hard,
Yeah,
hard lesson.
I think we all need some humbling every once in a while to
Yeah,
kick us back
yes, we
into
do.
shape.
It's
Yes.
helpful, unfortunately.
Yes. Right. Well, how do you envision your future now, and what are you most excited about?
At first, the future was really sad. It was grim. And then it just became kind of uncertain and just kind of, I would think about it and my mind would go blank. I had nothing. And now I'm excited about just the possibilities. I've changed so much. Like a lot of different people who knew me a year ago are like, you are just not the same person, which is awesome because, like I said, I hated that person. So
Mm,
she's gone. Hopefully forever. But yeah, once I started to kind of own my mistakes and forgive myself and accept reality, things started to look brighter. And some good has come out of this horrible situation. And being able to shift my perspective to that has been helpful. I'm excited about independence. I've done a lot of things on my own that I never thought I would do, and that was exciting. So I'm looking forward to more of that. I kind of had to relearn how to adult on my own. Like I said, I was really codependent, but
Mm.
the more that I see that I'm capable of, the more confidence it gives me and the more excited it makes me. So, like I signed a lease, I moved twice actually. I've moved since my separation. It's crazy. I bought a new car and I've had a surgery. I did my own taxes, which was huge.
That's
And
awesome.
like I do my grocery shopping. I cook now, which is blowing my mind. I kill spiders. I kill bugs. No big deal. But yeah, the sky's the limit. I've started new hobbies and I don't know, I see so much more potential in myself than before when I was just kind of like I feel stuck and I'm not happy, so therefore I'm not working on myself. So it's exciting.
Mm.
I don't know. It's weird. Weird to say that, but it is.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, I'm proud of you and I'm excited for you. I can't wait to watch everything. I've been watching you. You've done some
Yay.
trips too. You've did you go whitewater rafting or what did I?
Yeah,
Okay.
and I spent gosh, like every day at the pool with my little neighborhood community here in my apartment complex, which
That's
was
awesome.
awesome because one of them got me my new job.
Yay.
Yay. That
Yes.
worked out well.
Yes, that's why community is so important.
It really is. It really is. If you need something, there's someone in there that has it. That's perfect. Yeah.
Yes. Well, what message of hope would you like to share with women who are maybe feeling discouraged or feel fearful about moving on?
It gets better. It really does. When you think you're just like in the worst, lowest place, it passes. It really does. I think it was Dolly Parton that said, if you want the rainbow, you have to put up with the rain. So it doesn't rain forever. Hurt feelings can, cause you to not be yourself and isolate. And I don't know, just realizing that people love you, and people are going to be there for you. You just have to talk to them. So, yeah. I try to put myself out there a lot more, and people seem to appreciate that, but I do it in hopes that it encourages other people to do that as well. So, yeah, I try to be real where I can.
Awesome. If you could give one piece of advice to your younger self, what would it be?
Um, Not to rush into things and think that you have got it all figured out and, take people's advice. So if people say like marriage is hard, don't be like, "Oh, I've got this," because it actually is. And when it got hard for me, I just ran from it instead of, powering through and I don't know, working. I was afraid of work, I guess, and that was bad. So yeah, there's not a whole lot that we have control over, but we have control over our actions and our reactions. So I think that was something that I didn't realize at first, and I don't know, that's changed a lot. But yeah, you got to be willing to put work in, and if you're not, then don't try.
Yeah.
Don't get into a relationship unless you're ready, is
Yes.
my advice to my younger self, because I was not. So,
As we close up here, before we go, is there a quote or mantra that has help guide you through this process that you would like to share with us?
to be cliche, one day at a time, honestly, one day at a time. Like, I reset when I go to bed at night, and if I'm having a horrible day, I'm like, you know what? Tomorrow is a new day. And yeah, one day at a time. Don't
Love
overthink
it.
it.
You were the person that told me one day at a time. It's day one, not one day. It's day one, start today.
I suffer with anxiety, so I'm either not, I don't want to say present tense. I was either dwelling and regretting something of the past or worried about something in the future that may not even happen. So I was never present because of
Yeah,
that. And I feel like I'm so present now. It's crazy. And I almost
good.
just kind of don't care about the future anymore sometimes
Mhm.
because I'm like, what's going to happen? It's going to happen. I have no control over it. So
Yeah.
I definitely don't worry anymore
Yeah,
at all.
that's great. I
Yeah.
fall into that. I've messed up, so I've messed up my entire life. But
Right.
you are a clear example of how we can continue to move on. There's
Just fall into that and just be like, well, I screwed up. I'm worthless. I hate myself forever now because I'm going to have a horrible life and
right.
I'm not going to be able to do any good for anybody.
Thank you so much, Erin, for encouraging
Yeah,
us and sharing your life
totally.
story with us. This, I know,
Yay.
was not easy, and I am so proud of you again for being willing to open up. And you
Totally.
kept saying to me so many times, I'm going to do this because in hopes that it
Mhm.
will help someone else, even just one
Exactly. And I
person.
had to really think about it because I was like, you're putting something on blast that a good amount of people don't know about you.
Hmm.
But like I said, helping one person feel hope is more important to me than 20 people learning that I'm an alcoholic and being like, ew,
No.
which they wouldn't do, I'm sure, but in my
Right.
head,
No.
that's what they do. So yeah, I don't
And
care.
and
It's me. That's who I am, you know?
you've said this in the past that you went through this so that you can help someone else.
Exactly. And it's a big part of who I am. So, and it's the reason that I am who I am today.
Friends, it's you and me. Let's change the world. I know that's an ambitious idea, but let's do it together. Until next time.